Curtis Selby's time, breaking down the stories every view will unwind. From left to right, we'll see the light. It's balance we're chasing, no fighters fight. Curtis Selby talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis Selby's here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby, keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis Selby. The combo's unique. The combo's unique. Dave's out with the cheerful whistle and guitar riff. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby, keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis Selby. The convo's unique. Curtis Selby, talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis Selby's here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis Selby, keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, let's dive in deep with Curtis Selby. The combo's unique. The combo's unique. The combo's unique.
Elizabeth Warren, stay away from me. Elizabeth Warren, just let me be. I'm too strong for you. You're too hard on me, Elizabeth Warren.
That was the best RFK Jr. I could do. Welcome everybody, and as I, Curtis Selby, no, not RFK. I wish I looked as good as him. But God was kind, he at least spared my voice. So, maybe we're even. But it is I, Curtis Selby, your tired midnight blogger what blogs. In this case, at 7:04 p.m. I kind of wish I'd started earlier, but I didn't really get off of work till about a half an hour ago, so... And I'm glad I got some last-minute research done. I have learned a few things. I hope that you will learn a few things. And to be honest, if we don't get finished with this, because of the punchline at the end, I will, instead of using the poll, I will finish this topic on next Tuesday. But I'm hoping to get through it all today. Let's start with the people in the chat, the glorious people who have come to bless me with their presence and great comments. Hail, Kaplaw, Gorilla Sensor Thoughts. Fakahuntus. Liawatha. Chief Spreading Bull. 1024th Truth. Tribalist Lie. I think Gorillas is trying to tell us something. Buffalo Chip Liz. Great Pretendian. Casino Liz. Talks with Forked Tongue. Broken Feather. We've also been joined by Darkwoods Presents. Hail and well met. My good sir, we are going to be doing another stream. I hope I wrote it down. We have some things to talk about on the homeless community. That will be I want to say on the Saturday of March the 1st. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Please join us then. Darkwoods Presents and I will be doing a talk, mostly Darkwoods. I'll just be asking questions. He's the expert on this one. About certain things with the homeless community, how things could be improved if we just kind of pulled our heads out of our keisters. Gorillas Censored Thoughts, if you can't tell, Gorillas was born at work today. Gorillas can make these jokes because he's got more Indian blood in his a certain body than Chief Spreading Bull has altogether. Darkwoods, there's no way I'm missing this talk because I was one of the terrorists. Ooh. And the Occupy shut down the banks protests. Interesting. You may need to share some stuff because while I've got a little bit of information about that, it's not very deep. People saying hi to each other. Darkwoods went to Sacramento. Watched her during the California hearings on a break. She came over and slapped me, told me I was a racist and sexist terrorist for being part of that protest. Wow. Darkwoods doesn't know what's wrong with you, but we like you, Gorilla. Dark Knight, I don't even know what's all wrong with me. Take some deep breaths. Calm down. People at our age have heart attacks. Wait till y'all get to my age. Yeah, please. I'm leaving here a little thing. If you want, you can leave me a tip if you want. Don't have to. Anything that I get is going to go toward making this channel better. And on that note, I need to leave a thing in my Patreon asking you people what should be my first investment. Darkwoods Presents Liz is a sexist, racist, hetero. Maybe she'd get a free vacation to Afghanistan. Hail at Moira Kitty, meow meow. Welcome. This is a person who I probably should have consulted for this stream. She probably knows something about Elizabeth Warren. Who should go to Afghanistan? Well, Elizabeth Warren. Sorcery, voice sorcery, voice sorcery, voice sorcery. Her voice text is screwed up. I guess so. The voice sorcery at its finest. She was trying to ask who's supposed to go to Afghanistan. That would be Elizabeth Warren. Oh, wow, Darkwoods. I don't know about just any feminist, but I would agree that some radical feminists should possibly get free vacations to Afghanistan. Kaplot, Mark Malnikov. Funny, before I awakened in 2020, I understand. I do understand this, Mark. I'm not going to poo-poo you or look down on you. You used to look up to politicians like Warren. Now I look away from them and the DNC more so every day. If Mark Malnikov's walking by and the Democrats have lied, look away, baby, look away. Darkwoods was specifically talking about Liz Warren. She is a bit weird. That is the truth. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a deep dive on her. And I'm honestly I'm not going to say that I'm going to try to be fair, but I am going to try to present at least some of her side of some of the issues. Gorilla's just got challenged to a cook-off, and he gets to name what we're competing for. Ooh. Work is a dirty four-letter word. Indeed. Darkwood, she's not just a bit weird. She was paid off by the banks. You're getting a little bit ahead of me, but I think that we may get to this topic before the end of the show. Paid off by the banks to stop her promoting legislation to stop the mortgage crisis. Darkwoods was a protester, and she attacked Darkwoods in the Capitol building. This, according to Darkwoods. I can't confirm or deny it, but I'm not going to say that I doubt it, but I'm also not going to say, I don't want to be charged for libel, but I don't doubt your word, Darkwoods. I really don't. Hail and well met, Jeff B. We're gathering a crowd of wonderful people here. Moira! Freedom! Purr, Curtis. I love those purrs, Moira. Gorilla Sensor Thoughts. Oh, I get a meow, but Curtis gets a... Well, she's probably responding to RFK's manly pecs here. I mean, what woman wouldn't purr to look at that? Sadly, I don't look like that, but, it's all good. I kind of look a little bit like him around the eyes. Other than that, I don't look like him hardly at all. Mark Malikoff, if you sent her to live with the bears, you'd get charged with cruelty to animals. And hail Connie Cleary. I loved that movie yesterday. Thank you so much. I'd never seen it. It was so good. Topper. I hadn't even heard of it. To my chagrin. Meow Meow Moira. Sashi, hail, the man from the future. Yeah, well,
I work out. Yeah, that's me right there. I got those pecs, I gotta keep up the bod for the chicks.
Man, I wish I looked like that. I honestly thought when I first saw a picture of RFK with his shirt off, I honestly thought it was Photoshop. And then I looked him up. The guy works out. He's kind of a beast. Gasp! Corrupt politicians! Who would have known? Indeed, Sashi. It's becoming one of my favorite themes. And this one I'm going to try to connect some dots. I don't know if I'll get it done or not. Where is my equal representation? If I have to see a topless man, Gorillas wants to see a topless woman. And I say, so say we all. Jeff B, does the Avatar need a man bra? Well, you be the judge. I mean, it is Kennedy, and he is 70, so maybe, but I'm kind of happy that I don't need one yet, but I better start working out soon or I will need one soon. Hello, hail and well met, Resolute Germ. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we've got to work on a package to get Elizabeth Warren a free trip to Afghanistan. Thank you again, Connie Cleary. What is a woman? Sashi asks the relevant question. Can we really know if Elizabeth Warren is a woman? Because we don't know what the definition is. They could figure it out in Kindergarten Cop, but we're not smart enough to figure it out in 2025. Real Essential Thoughts. The stream we rated last night, I introduced articles of impeachment against Matthew for streaming over the cigar lounge. Huzzah! A woman has a vagina. Corrupt politicians asked former Senator Mendez who had a closet full of gold bars. Oh, yes. I've been plotting for a while to give free vacations for the most radical feminists to Afghanistan. Huzzah, huzzah, hello, hello, huzzah. Very well. Well, I think I played the music long enough. I think it's time to get to the topic. So, I'm revealing a bias here in my title. It's not just for clickbait. I really am intending, and I know that this is unfair. You know, it's not centrist. If I was being centrist, I would be, well, maybe she has a point, and I will try to present at least some of her side of things. But if I'm just going to come out and say it, I think she's a hypocrite, and I think that the things that I'm going to present here, while they may not be irrefutable, and if someone has the opposite bias, they can easily find ways to poo-poo probably a lot of the things that I say. But at the end of the day, I think that an objective mind, at the very least, you have to consider these things. And the figure of Elizabeth Warren, the more I've studied her, the more I realize she's closer to the center of the ring of darkness than I had imagined. When I first, I really knew very little about her until about maybe 6 months ago, if that. And what drew my attention to her, it's why I have Kennedy's picture up here, was just the way she flipped out on Robert Kennedy. It was, to me, it was just above the bar. That was raw emotion. There was nothing objective about that. No, I'm not. And that really drew my attention because, look, please don't challenge me to a fight, but I studied karate for about 5 years. And basically my sensei was very capable, but I was not. And he basically taught me, he got me from being a very clumsy and unhealthy person to being almost average in about 5 years. But the reason I bring him up is I learned some incredible lessons from the guy that I hope I never forget. And one of them, very simple. Excuse me, I didn't get to the button in time. There was a little kid that came to our class once. And Sensei was trying to teach him some things. I don't really remember the overall thing. I just remember this little point of the lesson. And he put a cup of water in front of this little kid. And Sensei asked the kid to bump it. And he bumped it a little bit nervously. And the Sensei, no, go ahead. Don't worry about making a mess. There's a point here. There's a lesson here. So the kid bumped it, and it didn't completely spill over, but a lot of water spilled out. And Sensei asked him, well, why did water spill out of that cup? And the kid, because he was a kid, gave the perfect and absolute correct answer. I would have said something that I thought was profound and would have ended up just looking like an idiot. The kid said, well, there's water in it. And Sensei said, that's absolutely correct. If you want to know what is in someone, you disturb them. And what comes out is what's really in them. So we have seen that Elizabeth Warren has been disturbed. And what's in her, what's really in her is what's come out. A lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of, I would say, desperation. And I did not at all understand this. What in the world could she possibly be so angry? What could she be so hateful about? And now I've done some of this research, and I think I realize what she's got to be hateful about. Let's go ahead and get caught back up on the chat. You guys are so wonderful. All right, Sashi's got to get ready for work. See you guys. Mark Molnikov, have a good day at work, Sashi. Mark Molnikov, rule number 1, Life isn't fair. That is correct. And rule number 2 is life is pain, and anyone trying to tell you otherwise is trying to sell you something. Gorilla Censor Thoughts. So when we get our Doge checks, all these people complaining, will they cash them or send them back like the Teslas? I would suggest that they'll probably mostly cash them. I'll admit, that's what I'll do. And anyway, Darkwood's, the only thing she's loyal to is stacks of hundreds that are about $10,000 a piece. She was literally paid off. This is according to Darkwoods. And again, I will get there, although I won't be able to make the statement as plain as Darkwoods is. She's literally been paid off by the banks. You can check. And honestly, if was I smart enough to give you a wrench? Let me make sure here. Doobie-doop, doobie-doop, doo-doo. Doobie-doop-doo. Exposed. 50% of you want a CPAC analysis for next Tuesday. Darkwoods does not have a wrench. Let's fix that. Please use your power for good and not just evil. But if you would like, please leave links in the chat. And I don't know if I'm going to go over any of it. It kind of depends on what ends up left. But if nothing else, I will look at it and share it in a later stream. Gorilla Censor Thoughts. If I were in these hearings, I would ask if they could shut the crap up for a minute to answer the question. Yeah, I get tired of that myself. And I also get tired of these damn yes or no traps. That's all they are. That's all they are. It's an unfair tactic. You know, it's like asking, when did you last beat your wife? Yes or no? Mark Malikov, I think that you are correct. I feel they are afraid of being exposed. Mark Malikov also says to Gorillas, if I ever get a Doge check, I will put it in the bank. Not cash it, but save it. Right on. Okay, let's begin the topic. So, you know, I didn't know who Elizabeth Warren was. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see, where do I want to start? Sometimes this thing doesn't really... So, okay, here's where I'll start. She has been mocked, possibly unfairly, by Donald Trump as Pocahontas because of claims that she has made to be Native American. Don't get me wrong. I've wanted to be Native American because in my day they had all these cool books that made it sound like Native Americans were really cool, and some of them are. But now I realize that you can't help your ancestry. It just is what it is, and you might as well be happy about it. All right, let's see. Here we have from 6 years ago, ABC News.
3 weeks until the crucial midterm elections, but there is a major headline that could involve a candidate for 2020. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren has already said she will give serious thought to a run in 2020. President Trump, who calls her Pocahontas, has suggested he would pay $1 million to a charity if she took a DNA test to prove her heritage. Tonight, she says it's time to pay up. Here's Mary Bruce.
His opponents say it's a racial slur, but President Trump relishes his nickname for Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Pocahontas, Pocahontas. Pocahontas. I mean, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. Seriously.
Trump seizing on Warren's claim that she is part Native American, even once leveling this challenge.
I will give you $1 million to your favorite charity, paid for by Trump, if you take the test and it shows you're an Indian.
Trump claims that Warren used her heritage to help her get ahead, but there is no evidence it advanced her career. Still today, the Massachusetts senator who's eyeing a 2020 White House run took up the president's challenge, releasing this video showing her receiving the results of a DNA test.
What do the facts say?
The facts suggest that you absolutely have a Native American ancestor in your pedigree.
Okay.
Warren was told she had a Native American ancestor in the range of 6 to 10 generations ago, but tonight.
Okay. So 6 to 10 generations ago, basically says that she had some Native American ancestry. Now, has that been debunked? Does it even matter, really? Honestly, I would suggest it kind of doesn't. But let's go. I'm going to go with my favorite person here. So maybe it doesn't matter. It's kind of a petty thing. But at the same time, why make it's like if I was to claim to be Native American, I probably have as much evidence or more than she does because my dad and my granddad were as brown as a peanut. But as far as I can tell from my admittedly limited investigations into my lineage, I can't find anything. So even though it would be cool, even though I would love it, I'm not going to make the claim because as far as I can tell, there's not enough truth to it. Hell, DJ Ronnie G. And there's a lot of great creators coming along in here, and I haven't been promoting people. So please check him out. Please check out Resolute Germ, Mark Molkov, Darkwoods Presents, Jeff B., Connie Cleary, Dark Woods, Gorilla's Censored Thoughts. Wonderful creators in here. Please check them out. They will not try to claim that they're Native American unless they really are. Anyway. Hey, gang. DJ Ronnie G made it for the beginning. You did. I think you maybe missed 5 minutes. Huzzah. Usually alive late. She should have never engaged in ethnic appropriation. Yeah. I mean, look, as much as I would love to appropriate something, I'm a pale white guy. That's what I am. So if I'm going to appropriate a ethnicity, it's going to be mine. I might learn to polka or, take up clogging or something. But anyway, DJ makes a good point here. Everyone has some other DNA 10 generations down. Exactly correct. And so, I mean, again, it's a little bit petty. It doesn't really matter to me. She has some Native American blood in her, but to me, it's honestly more laughable of her to make the claim than it is for our Governor Stitt, who probably isn't very much more of a quote unquote Cherokee than hers, but yet he is on the rolls. Resolute Germ, less heritage than 99% of the average American. I think that's correct. I think a lot of average Americans have maybe 1 or 2% of Native in them. We're all mutts. Jeff B., I'm a mutt, but not 1,024th though. Gorillas, I have enough Indian in me to claim it on government forms, not enough to get a cut in the casino. Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. But you know what? We hopefully we can still smoke the peace pipe. Resolute Germ, I have more of a case to claim of native blood than Warren. I'm Ghost White. When I say I think I might have more of a claim, only because I like I say, Dad and Granddad especially, he looked, if you ever look up the picture of Stand Watie, who was the last Confederate general to surrender, Granddad looked just like him. He looked just like him. But whatever there is or isn't in my bloodline, it really hasn't much come down to me. I am quite pale. Darkwoods has had 3 DNA tests. He is mostly French, Native American, Jewish, and black slave. Interesting. Very mixed. Very mixed. All right. Well, so anyway, she's a senator. She's made claims of being a Native American. It depends on, frankly, whether you care, how valid her claim is, whether it matters. That's really not what I want to focus on. I just want to kind of get her introduced to anyone that doesn't doesn't know who she is. And also I want to get that topic kind of out of the way. Mainly because I don't want the Native American gods to get big pissed and come after me. Okay, now that I've destroyed my relationships with all my Native American friends, let's take a little trip back through time. I did not remember this. Of course, this was a dark time of my life, and a lot of things from back in this time I tried to forget. This is one of the worst times of my life, not because of Obama. Obama had nothing to do with it. It was because of my marriage. CNN Money. This is from September 17 of 2010. It would have been on my son's 7th birthday. CNN Money. Obama names Elizabeth Warren as special advisor. President Obama announced Friday he's appointing Harvard Law professor Elizabeth Warren to a key role crafting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that was her idea in the first place. Getting the agency off the ground is a task that can't wait, Obama said. I wish I could do a good impression of him. Getting the agency off the ground is a task that can't wait. Warren is the best person to stand this agency up. It only makes sense that she should be the architect. Hey, Mike, come over here. I need you. Okay, that was rude and crude and totally uncalled for. Warren, at the age of 61 at the time, which means what? She's 76 now. 76 trombones led the big parade, and 110 cornets come behind. Warren said she enthusiastically agreed to serve as a special advisor in the Obama administration in a blog post appearing on the White House website. He has also asked me to take on the job to get the new CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, started right now, Warren said. The president and I are committed to the same vision on CFPB. I am confident that I will have the tools I need to get the job done. Warren echoed those remarks in an interview with CNN's John King, saying she wants to begin work Monday, but she was reluctant to comment on where she would be after the agency is up and running in July. I know the direction I want to go, but I'm sure not clear where we're going to be in a year, she said. The job gives the outspoken Warren a unique insider's megaphone within Treasury and the White House, while sidestepping the Senate confirmation battle. Isn't it interesting? She's howling about Elon hasn't been elected. She was not confirmed. There's no need to. Her title will be Assistant to the President and Special Advisor to the Treasury Secretary. Let's get caught up in the chat. And also, I want to remind everyone, I'm sure everyone knows, but this was basically 2 years after the housing crisis. I very dimly remember the creation of this bureau. It was supposed to make sure that something like 2008 never happened again. Dark woods, I look white, which that sounds like a good thing. Studies have shown new hires at corporations are 94% black. It seems a little high, but there does seem to be a disproportionate number. That I will go that far. Hail and good evening, Connie Cleary, Resolute Germ, and at Dark Woods. Good to see you all, saith DJ Ronnie G. Gorillas, you forgot all the ums. I have enough ums of my own. Okay, cool. Dark Woods, CA Knowledge, Elizabeth Warren, Net Worth, Forbes. All right, I think I will look that up. As I embrace the sounds of silence. Da 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 da. Silence like a cancer grows. I should have probably left it up anyway. I swear all these 200-year-olds on Social Security are our Congress people. We shall see all that soon. Gorilla Sensor Thoughts. Those investigations are ongoing. She is not howling. Gorilla Sensor Thoughts says she is a screeching banshee. And Mark Molnikoff, CFPB, got bulldozed. I don't. What the crap is this? Oh. Okay. Why did that do that? Who cares? Okay. So progressives, hell to pay if Warren's not in charge. Warren told CNN on Friday she's very confident she will have real power to get the new agency set up with teeth, based on conversations she's had with its president. Other key officials who helped shape the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act said they were elated with Warren's new role. I'm very pleased that the president agreed with those of us who pushed hard for Elizabeth Warren to be appointed, said Representative Barney Frank, who runs the House Financial Panel. I look forward to working with her in her new position and to making sure that American consumers get the full benefit of the law we recently passed. Warren will report to the President and Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner. Her new role working inside Treasury prompted her to relinquish the job she's had for nearly 2 years, running the Congressional Oversight Panel, which monitors the $700 billion bank bailout. That panel often issues reports critical of Treasury's work administering the bailout program. Over the past few months, the Treasury Department has been laying the groundwork for the consumer agency, which will be independent and autonomous, but here's an interesting point. Housed inside the Federal Reserve. That agency has already hired 35 staffers, including some from other agencies. First up for Warren is a hearing next Tuesday at Treasury, soliciting expert opinion on ways to create a new simplified disclosure form for mortgages contracts. Warren's appointment does not mean that she will be an official director of the Bureau once it's up and running in 10 months, but she will have say in who gets the job, Obama said Friday. Press Secretary Robert Gibbs wouldn't say whether Warren's new job would preclude her from being a candidate for the director job as well. He said the president would likely nominate a Consumer Bureau director who would go through this official Senate confirmation process, though she did not, in coming months. But Gibbs declined to rule out Warren as nominee. The new job provides a temporary end run around the Senate, where hundreds of presidential nominees, including 3 up for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, await confirmation. So 2 years in, he was still waiting for 3 people to get confirmed. So just to be somewhat fair, it's not just Dems that drag their feet on their opposition's nominees. The Republicans have been known to do the same thing. By giving Professor Warren responsibilities at both the White House and the Treasury Department, he is undermining congressional oversight while giving her substantive authority over the CFPB, wrote Representative Darrell Issa, Republican of California. Oh, used to be a Californian Republican. Wow! This alone made all this research worthwhile. This is unprecedented, according to the last surviving Republican in California. But Warren defended the appointment in her interview with King, arguing that statutes in the financial reform bill allow her to begin working on the agency immediately to avoid delays. The statute is clear, she said. It actually is structured to say, get going on the agency now, and when you can, go through the confirmation process and get somebody confirmed, then it will be the time to hand it from Treasury over to the new agency independently. Warren remains controversial in Washington. Left-leaning groups adore her, are thrilled about her new gig, and are still pushing for her to run the agency. This is CNN. Does anybody besides me stand in awe of the difference between the way reporting was done just 15 years ago and the way it's done now? I've gotten through nearly the whole article and have yet to be told how to think. I've just been told things like who is doing what and where they're doing it and why they're doing it and to what extent. This is called reporting, CNN. You used to do it. I think possibly that it's a Democrat, this Jennifer Liberto, but I don't really know. She could be a Republican. At the very least, she has yet to say anything insulting or, basically just, I'm blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she hasn't insulted us. So how far CNN has fallen. Darkwood, she made no effort to cease the illegal mortgage foreclosures. Gorilla Sense Thoughts, didn't you upload that clip I sent you? No, I didn't. Damn it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a big moron. The Consumer Protection Bureau doesn't absolutely nothing. Name something they did in the last 2 years. Gorillas, that's before they hired a bunch of crackheads, allegedly. I'm going to finish this article. What's so scary about Elizabeth Warren? I guarantee you, unless it's happened in the last month, you're not going to find a CNN article saying anything about what's so scary about any Democrat. Not anymore. But 15 years ago they would, which means that 15 years ago they had at least some objectivity. Elizabeth Warren is exactly the right person to set the new Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection on the right course, said Lisa Donner. No part of the Donner party. Don't make that mistake. Executive Director for Americans for Financial Reform, a coalition of consumer, investor, and union groups. But her tough love attitude towards banks and her sheer popularity among the masses makes many in the banking industry nervous. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce released a statement opposing the president's move to make her an advisor. This maneuver is an affront to the pledge of transparency and consumer protection that's purported to be the focus of this new agency, said David Hirschman, president of the Chamber's Center for Capital Markets Competitiveness. Despite Hirschman's sentiment, Warren said in her interview with King that not all bankers are against her. There are some bankers who like me, she said. People who want to put out good, simple products that people can understand and understand the price, understand what the risks are, exercise their own personal responsibility about whether or not they want to do it. So said CNN in the long gone days of 2010 when they actually were journalists with integrity. Rest in peace, CNN integrity. Gorilla Sense Thoughts. What's scary is a bunch of dipshits listen and vote for her. Darkwood, CNN Communist News Network. I didn't vote for her after Occupy. Right on. So let's see what Darkwoods has shared with us. This is Elizabeth Warren's net worth. From California Knowledge, I think. So her salary is $285,000, yet her monthly income is $400,000. So, look, far be it from me to allege anything, but $400,000 is a lot to make in a month when you make about 2/3 of that in a year. on your salary. Her net worth, $73 million. She's been a senator how long? 16 years? 20? I don't know. But she built up $73 million in 16 or 17 years on a $285,000 salary. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. She has $45 million in assets. She paid $110,000 in taxes. But here we are griping about, the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes, which honestly I'm fine hearing that, but not from her. $3 million in donations and gifts. So she's not all bad. And her monthly expenses are $500,000. So riddle me this, Batman. She makes $285,000 a year. She's built up an income of or a net worth. Sorry, not an income, but a net worth of $73 million. She has an income monthly amount of $400,000. Her expenses are $500,000 a year. So unless she inherited the money, how did she build up this massive amount of wealth when she's spending $100,000 more a month than she makes? Her family inheritance is $10 million. So $10 million of it's inherited, but somehow she built that up in a Donald Trump-esque acumen of investment from $10 million to $72 million. And she didn't do it with any insider trading. She did. She owns 10 real estate properties, 7 cars, 3 luxury yachts. I would suggest that you who are howling that Elon Musk is no champion of the poor, neither is this person. Now, of course, this site may be full of crap. So, let's take it with some grain of salt. But all right, let's get caught up in the chat, and then I'll move on to the next thing. Gorilla Censored, chronically negligent news. Dark Woods with a net worth of $73 million. Okay, I promise you, Gorillas, I'm going to download it. I'm going to be able to play it by Tuesday. And so you guys won't have to listen to me. You can hear the real deal of $1 million. Nobody is above the law. So we modified the law accordingly. Darkwoods present, even if you saved 100% of the congressional paycheck, it would be impossible to make $73 million. You're correct. How long would it take to do that? Let's see. She has 200. Oh, I've already lost it. Let's just say that. Let's make it easy. Let's say she makes $300,000 a year, which we know she doesn't, but let's just say she does to make the math easy. Getting out my handy dandy little calculator. 73 million. And that divided by 300,000. So it would take her 243 years. Now, of course, that's not adding interest or anything like that. I'm sure that probably cuts it down to something more reasonable. But I doubt if it's more reasonable than, say, 80 years. Gorilla says she only donated her tax liability, which, yeah, that's about what all of them do. Look how much Big Pharma gave her. Well, I mean, and Jeff B makes a good point. Our good friend Mitch McConnell is at 95 million. Gorilla Central Thoughts. Wait, she has 3 yachts? Aren't we supposed to cut our carbon emissions Well, that's what I thought. And I'm pretty sure yachts have a fair amount of carbon emissions. But, what's important is that global warming is going to be fixed not by her getting rid of her yachts, but by you having no job, having no life, having no car, working in whatever bullshit work they tell you to work. I believe it is, because I've seen him in videos. The guy's workout is legit. I believe that actually is his chest. Now, let me know if you think it's photoshopped. I could be full of crap. 73 million, that's a lot of feathers sold. Yes, sirree, Bob. Not wrong, not wrong. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. I want to compare Elizabeth Warren from 2010 when she was getting this appointment. I don't know if this video is taken just before or just after, but it compares 2010 Elizabeth Warren to 2025 Elizabeth Warren.
Amazing. In the past, when you drove the car over the cliff, you lost your job.
To put it into perspective, she is doing an interview with Michael Moore in the documentary, which I have not seen, so I won't comment on it. But I want to say it's called The Love Affair with Capitalism. Haven't seen it. I've only seen one of his documentaries, and to be fair, I loved it. That was the Planet of the Humans. I have not seen the one about capitalism. I think his idea is to debunk it. And here he's talking to a very reasonable sounding Elizabeth Warren. Basically about what happened in 2008.
Past, when you drove the car over the cliff, you lost your job. I was talking to someone who spent many years as a prosecutor, and he said, when that much money disappears, it's usually because somebody broke some laws somewhere. But if we don't look, if we don't ask, if we don't uncover it and make it all public, we'll never find out.
Where is the criminal investigation that needs to happen here?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And that was her then. This is her now.
I just haven't seen it at all.
Oh, wait. No.
What the government didn't do is it didn't turn around and say, you lost how much money? I want to know who did what, whether or not any laws were violated, where the gaps are in the system that would permit this to happen. I want to hold somebody responsible. Responsibility is not just about blame. Responsibility is about making sure we fix this and it will not happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts with the notion that that's the right question to ask, rather than what can I give you now to make it all better?
Elon!
Okay. I'm at the risk of doing your thinking for you, which I really don't like to do. Partly because I know the level of my thinking. It's not the best. She has had 15 years. She's been in the Senate. She's had powerful positions in the Senate. She's had 2 presidents, one of them for 6 years, one of them for 4, that backed her 100%. Now, if you want to say, yeah, well, but Trump fought her for 4 years, that's fair. But you're not telling me that he undid a solid decade of possible progress in his 4 years. And now let's listen to her today.
Elon Musk wants everyone in America to be at the mercy of Elon Musk. We are here to fight back.
Fight back! Fight back!
Now, No one elected Elon Musk.
To be fair, she was elected to the Senate, but no one elected you as the head of the CFPB. You were just put there. Granted, you were eventually replaced, but
Nothing. That's right. Not one Democrat in America voted for Elon Musk.
not one Republican did either. We voted for the president who told us that he was going to have Elon Musk do this. It's one of the big reasons why we voted for him. Sorry to say.
Not one. Not one Republican in America voted for Elon Musk. No.
Not one Democrat voted for Kamala Harris in the primary. But, you know, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
One independent in America voted for Elon Musk. Not one libertarian in America voted for Elon Musk. Damn, not one vegetarian in America voted for Elon Musk. And yet, Elon Musk is seizing the power that belongs to the American people. We are here to fight back.
Okay. In the first one, you have someone who's very reasonable, very calm, passionate, but passionate within a very reasonable limit, making very reasonable statements that I totally agree with. I don't think there's a single thing she said in that first statement that I actually disagreed with then or now. Now she sounds angry, hateful, obsessed. And look, let's be fair. There is more than one explanation. There's probably more than two. But simple-minded me, I'm going to propose two explanations for that transformation. One possibility is that things have gotten so dark and so horrible, and we are so close to the verge of despotism that she's terrified and afraid, and she is hoping without hope that we can fight Sauron. That's one possibility. I would suggest the other possibility, which I'm not going to, you probably already know what I think, but I'm not going to weigh in just yet on which possibility I presume to be true. The other possibility is she became part of the dark swamp. She got in bed with all these big money people. She made a ton of money. And now she's scared shitless that the gravy train's going to be taken away. And who knows what else. Maybe she's afraid she'll be prosecuted. And to be fair, she might even be afraid that she's going to be unjustly prosecuted. I know a lot of very good, kind, liberal people who are genuinely, I think foolishly, but genuinely afraid that us Republicans are going to cart them off into prison camps and become Nazis. But those are the two possibilities that I want us to consider. Are we on the verge of despotism, or is she on the verge of prosecution? Let's get caught up in the chat. Man, you guys are so wonderful. So much chat. Okay, Gorilla Sensor Thoughts. My favorite moment was when she decided to do a live stream and she was like, I think I will have a beer. I almost got that one for this. Then she bird lips it and her husband came by and slapped her on the butt. Wow. Well, you know, she's kind of, I'm not saying like gorgeous, but she's moderately pretty in that first video and not so much in the second. To be fair, I've aged a lot in the last 15 years too. Darkwood says it would take 250 years at her salary to make $73 million. Gorilla Central Thoughts, I'm so happy you're here. And Trump tweeted, what you mean you're happy is here. He lives here. He's supposed to be here. Darkwoods, remember, I'm good with math. Well, I'm glad you are. I used to be, but I'm not so much anymore. Gorilla Central Thoughts, that's what Doge is doing, you stupid beep. Wait, she can't hear me. Darkwoods, all the people against Doge are in some sort of fraud. I would suggest at least the people at the top. I don't think that my friends who are supporting people like this, or maybe not even her necessarily, but are supportive of let's don't do Doge, supportive of Elon Musk is dangerous, which he may be. You know, I'm not ruling that out. But I do want to remind you that in The Lord of the Rings, Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas were good. That didn't mean they weren't dangerous. Darkwoods presents, I think all politicians should be monitored to see where their money is coming from. Their financial data should be public. She sounds like a biatch, according to DJ Ronnie G. I just want to know, is she angry on behalf of the people or the skeletons in her closet? Look, I've got a few skeletons in my closet. I do. So I'm going to tell you, if I'm sounding like that second lady, it's probably because one of my skeletons is about to be found out. So, Darkwood, she's like a different person. I agree. It's almost like a totally different person. Screech owl. Yeah, I mean, in the first one, she sounds pleasant. It's like kind of soothing and calming. And, oh, listen to that voice. And the second one is kind of like claws going over a freaking chalkboard. Big Al presents, hail and well met. See, he made the point. I saw this just half a second after I said it. Welcome, welcome, Big Al. I hope you're doing well. And y'all check him out. He's the founder of the 10-Word Review. He does a lot of wonderful watch parties. I've gotten to see a lot of great movies because of this gentleman. Also, he was the very first poor sap to ever be in one of my live chats. Poor guy. He'll never live it down. Mark Melnikov, I'm tired of her shrieking. The left is the minority. And after the DNC elections, they will have a party full of that. Little Davy Hogg is the vice chair. What could go wrong? Welcome, welcome, Al. Darkwood's free vacations to Afghanistan for shrieking female Democrats opening a Kickstarter. Who wants to donate? Somebody's probably going to take a clip of that and destroy me. They are working to put us in prison camps and want one political party. Well, who is it that said they wanted to put people in camps? Now, let's be fair. Maybe that was just a joke. It's disingenuous of me not to have that as a possibility when I say a lot of the crazy crap that Trump says is a joke. But still, it was said. Just saying. The dark side making her ugly. Gorilla Central Thoughts. Curtis, you have always been attracted to hags. Lord, that wasn't right. I apologize. I apologize. It's a great Five Finger Death Punch song. I'm glad they dominated. David Hogg means we've already won the midterms. We got to be careful. This is what we always do. We get a little taste of victory, and we watch the Democrats lose their crap and act like crazy, goofy people, and then we do something stupid, or the media makes it look like we did something stupid. Complacency. Yes, we can't get complacent. That doesn't mean that we should oppress Democrats. It doesn't mean we should be mean to them, especially the voters. You know, I really don't give a crap if you're mean to Elizabeth Warren, but someone, say like Lady Mist or say like Space Fraggle, they're good people. You know, they voted what they believed to be right based off of what they had been told. So, you know, let's not be mean to them, but let's not be complacent. Let's keep our noses to the grindstone and do our own due diligence and try to shine what light we can, because the day may come when we can't. David Hogg, anti-Second Amendment, anti-police, overall spoiled little socialist biatch, according to Mount Monakov. I think I got this one done, so let's read another article. Yes, everybody wants to hear me read more articles. So now I'm going back to giving her a chance to have her say. I don't want to just make her a caricature. She's a human being. If whatever dark place she's in, and she's in a dark place, I'm sorry, but I can't listen to that and not think that the poor woman's not in a dark place. It's because friends of mine were sounding like this that I started to get worried. But that doesn't mean that we should caricature or set up straw people. We've got to take people as they really are, or at least as close to it as we can. This is an article by Elizabeth Warren from Newsweek from 2023. So just not just a little over a year ago. Elizabeth Warren, America, it's time to tell the government we're sick of Big Pharma's racket. Now, I mean, if I had read this before doing all this research, I would be thinking, man, this is great. You know, after all this COVID crap, here's a Democrat coming out to say some simple common sense. We're sick of the Big Pharma racket. Let's see what she has to say. I honestly haven't read this article yet, so we'll be learning about this together. This year, I'm assuming these are either her words or the words of a ghostwriter for her, but the words speak for her. Nearly 300,000 Americans were diagnosed with prostate cancer. I have a really wonderful relative who has had prostate cancer, and it was devastating. That's 300,000 daddies, brothers, and best friends who got hit with sledgehammer news that they have cancer. Then came the second sledgehammer, the cost of treatment. A drug called Xtandi could save their lives, but the price runs up to $190,000 a year. It's a familiar story. A diagnosis could force a family into bankruptcy to save the life of someone they love, while a giant drug company rakes in huge profits from every desperate patient. Last week, the Biden administration, again, this was over a year ago, confronted Big Pharma. Remember, we beat Big Pharma. And then he turned around at the debate. We beat Social Security. That's right. That's right, Joe. You beat it into the ground. Anyway, Biden confronted Big Pharma by announcing a plan to allow the government to let more competitors manufacture a drug if taxpayers supported the research that helped to develop it, and if the company holding the patent has jacked up the price so high that patients couldn't get access. This action could slash drug prices for millions of Americans. Drug companies are already fighting the plan tooth and nail, but the president should not waver. He should follow through by finalizing the plan and lowering drug costs. Xtandi is a poster child of how Big Pharma rips off Americans. All three of Xtandi's patients acknowledge that federal dollars supported development of the drug. Taxpayers also funded research that led to treatment for hepatitis C, medicines to prevent HIV, and the technology that underlies Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Those drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. According to one study, every new drug approved between 2010 and 2016 benefited in part from federal funding. Thank you, Anthony Fauci. American taxpayers pay to help develop these drugs, but pharmaceutical companies have free rein to charge whatever prices they want. And just to show what chumps Big Pharma makes of Americans, Astellas, the company that manufactures Xtandi, charges U.S. customers as much as 6 times more than patients in other countries. Now, I'm going to write this down, and I want you guys to remind me in case my chronic fatigue doesn't allow me to remember it. But the company she is castigating is Astellas, not Pfizer. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Big Pharma makes record profits while millions of Americans suffer. It's no surprise that Democratic and Republican voters alike are demanding relief from skyrocketing drug prices. Here's the lovely Elizabeth Warren speaking during a hearing of the Senate Finance Committee to the proposed budget request for 2024 on Capitol Hill. Important senator person right here. Be afraid, be very afraid. For years, cancer patients and advocates pleaded with the government to use a tool. Instead, we always elect tools. But anyway, use a tool that has been around for decades, the Bayh-Dole Act. Using march-in rights granted by this law, the government could relicense patents for inventions that benefited from taxpayer dollars if those inventions aren't made available to the public on reasonable terms. Cancer patients have rightly argued that demanding $190,000 a year for a life-saving drug is not reasonable. I'm just not going to make the statement. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. The government should have used its march-in rights long ago, but pharmaceutical companies have lobbied. Yes, they have, to exclude a drug's price from the determination of what's reasonable. They argue that evidence from legal scholars and others to the contrary should just be ignored. In March, the government rejected a march-in petition for Xtandi, but said that things were about to change. It announces plans to develop a framework that would finally implement the march-in provision of the Bayh-Dole Act and consider price as a factor. In releasing the draft framework, the Biden-Harris administration was unambiguous. Price can be considered in the government's decision to march in on the drug. That curbs the ability of pharmaceutical companies to jack up the price of drugs taxpayers helped pay to develop. The battle isn't over. The march-in guidance isn't finalized. And it should be strengthened to make clear that a drug's price is unreasonable if Americans are forced to pay more for drugs that they paid to develop. Big Pharma will also do everything in its power to prevent this plan from going into effect, but we can fight back. Here's what comes next. The march-in framework will be open for public comment until February the 6th. That means Big Pharma will have until February 6th to ferociously lobby our government and scare Americans into thinking that actions to lower drug prices will destroy innovation, take drugs out of circulation, and generally cause the earth to stop rotating on its axis. In that same time, I will fight to ensure the administration strengthens and finalizes this framework so Americans can have a little more breathing room when it comes to their health care costs. And I'll bring along as many people in Congress as possible, just not RFK, not him. but everyone else, anyone else, as many people as possible. The real fight will play out with all of you. If Americans weigh in at regulations.gov, then all the lobbying from Big Pharma won't make a dent. This is the moment to tell our government that we're sick of Big Pharma picking up drugs that we paid to develop and then charging Americans significantly more for those drugs than they charge patients abroad. For everyone who is battling cancer or another disease, this is the moment. For anyone who knows someone who needs access to a high-priced drug that your tax dollars help develop, this is the moment. And for everyone who is just plain sick of Big Pharma ripping off our nation, this is the moment. We can speak up online and participate in the public comment process because we won't get censored like anti-vaxxers are. I mean, this is the time to tell our federal government that Big Pharma has had its day and its gargantuan profits. And now it's time to make government work for the American people. This is a righteous fight. I'm going to look something up. Who owns Estella? Bum. 4,503 shareholders, which means not a lot of people, really. Astellas Pharmaceuticals is a Japanese multinational pharmaceutical company. Astellas is a member of the Mitsubishi Financial Group. So, not saying that they're heroes or good guys. They're not an American company. But please note, this is a competitor to Pfizer. Think whatever you want about her and her speech. This is a competitor to Pfizer. This blog post not brought to you by Pfizer and will probably be censored forthwith. Let's get caught up in the chat. Hey, James, hail and well met. Howdy, y'all. James is saying hello to everyone. I'm not sure if I've seen you before. Welcome, hail and well met. FKHC 2005, the one that they sometimes call Tim, 5440 or fight. Tell me it does not. At James YouTube, for some reason, wanted someone to prove the pill joke. I think it's weird they did. DJ Ronnie G, I had to click show to uphold James' free speech. Well, thank you, DJ Ronnie G. I'm glad that you did. While I'm never going to question the wrenches, when in doubt, just let it through, because I hate censorship, but I'm also not going to second guess you. If someone is being a dork, and I'm not saying that James, because it doesn't look like James said anything bad at all that I can see, but I have full faith in you guys. If someone is saying something just truly insulting, then yeah, feel free to knock them out. DJ Ronnie G is a wrench. I consider that to be among my duties. Hell to the yes. Word. Yeah, it wasn't like he was swearing. And maybe this is on another stream. Anyway, I'm just here. The Darkwoods present the AMA only approves two types of medical procedures, medication or surgery. There is no doctor that can lawfully suggest any other type of therapy. People saying hey, people saying hello. Look at Warren's money from Big Pharma. And DJ Ronnie G, if someone said some racial stuff, then I would let it filter out, or I would apply the kibosh. I understand that. And like I say, I'll never second guess you wrenches. If y'all do something that I don't like, then I should have given you the wrench in the first place. But second guess you guys. I usually ask them to delete the comment first, then if they don't delete it. Got it. DJ Ronnie G, basically anything genuinely hateful or anything that is sure to jeopardize the channel with no way to argue otherwise can be a little subjective. And that is reasonable. YouTube does the moderator job for my chats. Gorilla Censored Thoughts. I'm assuming you've been censored again. Gorillas has been censored again. Tell the gentleman what he's won, Bob. You've won a year's supply of Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Probably most of you are too young to remember that. Okay, so we have an essay. It sounds very reasonable. I actually agree with a lot, not all, but a lot of the things that she said. I just noticed that the one pharmaceutical company she's criticizing is a Japanese competitor of the big boys. It's not one of the big boys itself. It's a competitor of the big boys. It's not Bayer. It's not Pfizer. I can't remember the third one right now. There were three big ones. Anyway. Tim, if it's a bot, I delete it. Thank you, by the way. And actually not yet, surprisingly. Well, now I'm going to share this video, partly because I just think Megyn Kelly is so hot. Even if you don't agree with her politics, she is just so divine. Let me just look at her for a bit. Also, Megyn Kelly is one of the things that I look at, and I do look at her a lot, but she's one of the people that I look at when it came to becoming a Trump supporter. I know some of you have to remember that she and Trump did not get along in his first term. There were a lot of bitter, angry words between the two. If there's anyone who has a good reason for hating Trump, it's Megyn Kelly. And she changed her tune. Now, I'm sure there's cynical people who will say, well, of course she did, because she wants political power and she knew that if he could get elected, but she didn't know he was going to get elected. I don't know that anybody knew. I didn't. She chose her side a lot longer before I did. She was already pro-Trump before the assassination attempt. That's when I started listening to her again. I listened to her for the first time in ages the night after the assassination attempt. And I was just glued to the screen listening to what she said. Here's what she has to say about today's Elizabeth Warren.
DeSantis is big on the big pharma money. She and Bernie Sanders are the two top senators who received the most pharmaceuticals or health product donations in the 2020 election cycle. When they each ran for the Democratic presidential nomination, she received just under $1 million, $822,000. And what did she do when she got her chance to question RFKJ, who spent his whole life suing these big pharma companies for what they've done and suing environmental toxin producers for what they've done to our lakes and our rivers and so on? Here's how that went, SOT 16.
Will you also agree that you won't take any compensation from any lawsuits against drug companies while you are secretary and for 4 years afterwards?
Well, I'll certainly commit to that while I'm secretary. But I do want to clarify something because you're making me sound like a shill.
Okay. I'm sure, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I first heard that question, I felt like it was a reasonable question. Because I don't know politics that well. In spite of the fact that I'm doing a blog about politics, I'm not a politician. I did not see this question for what it was. To me, it sounds reasonable. Will you not sue a pharmaceutical company for the duration of your time as the head of the help an old man out, of the health and the health organization thing that he's head of, HHS, Health and Human Services? That's reasonable, because if I remember right, it's against the law for him to do that in that time anyway. But also, you're not going to do it for 4 years thereafter. Now, again, it sounds reasonable. I mean, wouldn't it be a conflict of interest for him to sue them in the 4 years after he's been HHS secretary? His response, I learned quite a lot from it. And then Megyn Kelly adds her analysis to it.
I'm asking about fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not?
In other words, so he made his living before he was in the legislature. That's how he made his living. That was his bread and butter. He was a lawyer who sued big companies for doing bad things, and he would get a lawyer's fee, which was typically some percentage of the ruling. You know, if the company was fined $100 million, he got whatever percentage. It's a typical lawyer. I'm not really intelligent as far as law, but I know that is a lawyer thing. If you are in the business of suing people, you get compensated for it. And often that compensation is some kind of a percentage of that thing. Now put 2 and 2 together. Going to give you maybe a second or two to think. Why would it be bad to say that he can't do that for 4 years after being secretary? Why would that be different from not being able to do it, as I don't think they can, while he's secretary?
To do that.
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm not going to agree to that,
drug
Senator.
companies as much as you want.
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Well, kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule. I will do that. The only thing I want is good science, and that's it.
I understand what she was trying to do. And it's very clear he can't be suing vaccine companies or drug companies while HHS director. That's a no-brainer. She wanted him to say that he wouldn't sue vaccine or drug companies for 4 years after. Why?
Why indeed? I'm going to get caught up in the chat while we think about why is it Elizabeth Warren, this reasonable person who wrote this wonderful article about how bad big pharma is, why is she asking Robert Kennedy essentially not to go back to his old job for a minimum of 4 years after he leaves this job? Please just think, just consider, why would she do that? Darkwoods Presents. Yes, please sub to Darkwoods Presents. He's a, I hope that don't mean this to sound harsh because I'm a small channel myself, but like the rest of us, he's a small channel. He's got wonderful stuff. Please show him some love. Gorilla Central Thoughts. Miss is playing Whack-A-Bot. Yeah, screw bots, except Petey. He's a halfway decent toaster. Darkwoods has books for sale on Amazon. And, maybe just think about, look at them, see if anything looks like something you'd want to read and buy one. Tim, in 2016, I voted for the Republican primary Ted Cruz, I forget at this point. HHS. Darkwoods, the answer is no. It's not a conflict of interest. He helps people sue. That's typical for lawyers. Lawyers make up most of the elected and not elected members of government. Absolutely. Darkwoods, most of them work for large corporations specifically. And I'm probably being a little simplistic here, but very specifically large law corporations. She could have reiterated her question instead of acting frantic. Yes. But referencing back, I don't remember if you were here, but you know what's in a container, you know what's in a person by disturbing it. And what Kennedy said disturbed her. And don't get me wrong, I had a similar thing happen. I was the Elizabeth Warren just yesterday. Somebody sent me a text and I went off on this person. You get disturbed, that shows what's in you. So, now, my friend probably is like, okay, I'm going to be careful to ask him that question again. Or, that really wasn't what it was, but, I'm trying to make light of it. But it's on me. Well, really, we both have something, he has some things that possibly he could work on, but what's important, because I can't control him. I can't, I'm not his boss, but I am my boss. It's on me to look at, hey, I got upset. And even if I had some quote unquote legitimate reasons, maybe I went too far. Maybe I should have reined it in just a little bit. I don't know if she'll do that. I don't know. It doesn't sound like she is. DJ Ronnie G, I don't know if it's appropriate to say she was obfuscating the intent behind her question. I think I think that is exactly what she was doing. She was being sneaky, and a lot of people would have fallen for it. I would have fallen for it. I would have sat there like a great big dope, and I would have done one of two things. I would have either said, yes, ma'am. I don't need no livelihood after this. Or I would have gotten all defensive and, well, you're just a big meanie. And he didn't. He just called her out. And frankly, you can see that she knew that he knew what the hell she was doing. Because abusive people, and yeah, I counter in with the abusers. Abusive people do that. They get upset. They get defensive when they see that you've seen through them. Mark Molnikoff, she has things to hide. Now, again, I'm being a little unfair. There's still the second possibility. There is still the second possibility. I'm getting ahead of myself. The second possibility is that there's an autocracy coming in, and she is so scared that she can't hardly contain herself. Ronnie G, maybe RFK could have said, I'm not going to commit to not suing pharma companies after I leave my role in government. Yeah, I actually like that he kind of challenged her. Firefly Watch Party. When is that again, Gorillas? Please remind me when that is. Because I don't want to interfere with it. In fact, I probably need to tidy this up pretty soon. Darkwoods, I don't like that we're not hearing from Bobby while he's been in office yet. He's done a thing where he talked about what he wants, what his guidelines are for the thing, for the HHS. Okay, I've got to try to hurry or I won't get through all of this. I may have to finish it on the next one. All right, so this is from MSN. Warren's claim to be clean of big pharma money. I'm not going to play the clip, but there's a famous viral clip going around where reporters challenged her. RFK says you've gotten all this money from big pharma. It's not, and her response was, it's not true. I haven't gotten a dime from Big Pharma. I have noticed that several of the usual suspects are basically taking her at her word and saying that it's largely false or partly false. I didn't want to go with Fox, but I tried to find something halfway centrist. Warren's claim to be clean of Big Pharma money falls apart as it's revealed they gave her millions. There's old Bernie, who got more money than she did. After her fiery confrontation with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I used to respect this man. I'm afraid I've only got some very tattered shreds. The last shreds of respect I have for him is that I thought he looked cool in those little mittens memes. That's all I've got left for the guy. After her fiery confrontation with Robert F. Kennedy during his confirmation hearing to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren has been the subject of much criticism. Kennedy's outspoken opposition to pharmaceutical companies peddling a laundry list of vaccines and other products of the American people put him in the sights of several Democrats during that hearing. Warren was one of them. Warren expressed concerns that Kennedy's efforts would bankrupt vaccine manufacturers. I thought in that essay she wasn't all that concerned. But let's be fair. We really want to bankrupt any of these people. We just don't want them to price gouge us. She threw a tantrum during the hearing when Kennedy outed her for trying to get him to say he would not go after pharmaceutical companies as a lawyer after leaving HHS. Why is Warren so worried about what happens to Big Pharma? They pay her a lot of money. Warren can deny this claim all she wants, and she did in a clip posted by the Daily Caller News Foundation via social media platform X on Tuesday. I wonder if this...
Big Pharma since 2020, the reason why you don't want RFK Jr. suing Big Pharma? Is that why?
No, check the website. I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money. And you and your allies already know that.
So she's claiming she takes no PAC money at all. Readers added context. What I love about Twitter, they have done away with all the damn fact checking, but readers get to add context. We all get to fact check each other. According to Open Secrets, Elizabeth Warren was the number 2 recipient of money from pharmaceuticals and health products in the 2019-2020 election, receiving $822,573. Here, let me share this just so you can see what that is referencing. Pharmaceuticals. Here we go. Pharmaceutical health products recipients. Money to Congress. Bernie Sanders right here at the top, $1,470,000. Meanwhile, he's ripping RFK a new one. Elizabeth Warren, number 2, $822,000. I don't really care about the rest of them, but I do notice that lovely Mitch McConnell is number 5. Number 5 is alive. He's not the top Republican to receive money. That's David Perdue from Big Pharma. Big Pharma. Making copies. Bribing the senators. Warren stated, check my website. I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money. Community Notes on X remains undefeated as a rebuttal to that claim. Was attached to the video. The community note linked to Open Secrets. Warren took $822,000 from employees or PACs affiliated with pharmaceutical and health product companies, though not from the companies themselves. So if you want to be very technical, and this is what all of the big mainstream media people are she didn't take any, because no, she didn't directly take it. She took it from PACs affiliated with them. She was second only to Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders. Sanders and Kennedy had their own moment during the second day of the latter's confirmation hearing when he outed Sanders for taking big pharma money. Sanders defended himself against Kennedy by making the distinction that his money did not come from the executives but from big pharma workers. This seems to be the game Warren is playing here. She may have said that she does not take money from executives, but big pharma gave her money, and they still do. Whatever word games Warren and Sanders want to play, they've been outed. One way or another, they're effectively bought. They take big pharma money and therefore oppose Kennedy to lead HHS for his opposition to big pharma. All right, how much time have we got? I may skip that video. Okay, so you're having yours at 9. Dang it. Okay. Okay. I'm probably going to have to continue this next week, but I want to get through at least one more thing. Dark Woods, I feel uncomfortable. I don't like silence. I understand that, Dark Woods. I really do. I want sweeping changes the way the FDA, to the way our FDA and medical systems works. More accountability. Bernie lost my respect when he backed down to Hillary. And yeah, I should have been less forgiving. But I was trying so hard to be centrist back then. Anyone committing government fraud working in the government should have all their assets seized, according to Dark Woods here. They do it to citizens all the time. It's only fair. You know, I tend to agree. Space Fraggle Kaplaw, hail and well met. And he makes a good question here. How do you all feel about President Trump declaring himself King Trump? I'm going to let the chat answer that one. I can understand if I were in opposition to him, I would feel uncomfortable about that. I really would. I know I would feel uncomfortable if, say, Obama or Biden said something like that. I certainly would. So let's look at, so as we all know, Elizabeth Warren basically founded the CFPB. And I think that's at least part of one of the reasons why she's so upset with what Doge is doing. It's her baby. She set it up. And therefore, she wants it taken care of instead of destroyed. I have here her questioning a nominee, Rohit Chopra, from 3 years ago. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't, but I want us to listen to this and contrast it, compare and contrast it to the way she's dealt with Senator Kennedy. Or I guess we should say HHS Director Kennedy now.
Commissioner Chopra, congratulations on your nomination. You have been a longtime advocate for consumers. And I have
Let me know if you can still hear it. I turned it down because it's kind of blaring my ear.
But you have a big task ahead of you. The last administration's appointees acted like they worked for the giant banks that they were supposed to regulate. So it's clear that the Bureau needs to return to its core mission of protecting consumers. So I want to ask you about your plans for one of the areas where the past leadership of the Bureau failed the most. And that's enforcing the fair lending laws that are designed to protect consumers from discrimination. In 2017, one of the very first things that Mick Mulvaney did when he took over as acting director was to gut the Bureau's Fair Lending Office and strip the attorneys of enforcement power. And no surprise, enforcement actions plummeted. So can you talk about your own plans for holding banks and financial companies accountable for discrimination?
Okay, so again, we're back to a time when she was not angry. So, I mean, maybe Mark Malnikov has the right point. Maybe there is something to fear. Maybe despotism is on the border, and that's what's making her upset. But you notice a very distinct difference in tone, very distinct difference in defensiveness. She's the one in control here. She's the big dog here. There's nothing threatening her, and that's honestly fine. I'm just making an observation at this point. God Emperor Trump, like Dune. AV. Oh, okay, good. The sound is good. Good. All right, okay. And y'all, let me know when you want me to end this, because I know most of you want to go to Netters. I want to go to Netters. I know Gorillas has something going on in about 13 minutes, but I'm honestly just tempted to finish this. But I mean, if I'm going to go to Netters or Gorillas, I'm going to have to finish this in about 13 minutes, which means I'm not even close to the punchline yet. Darkwoods, what is different about Trump than when it was a Democrat-controlled government? Well, that's the question. And it's a legitimate question, whichever side you're on. If you're a Republican, you're looking at it and wondering, why the hell is she so different? Why is she being different? Whereas if you're a Democrat, it's probably self-evident to you why she's being different. And they're probably thinking, well, we're stupid for asking the question that way. It's obvious to them, whereas it's not obvious to us. So I guess I will answer the question of Space Fraggle. I think he's joking. It may be a crude joke. It may not even be a funny joke, although I think it is. But essentially, it's Trump. He's braggadocious. It's frankly, the only reason it could be harmful is if it's like when I took my friend's comment the wrong way. It wasn't so much the comment as the way I took it. We can either take it as a joke and laugh, or we can take it as an insult and get pissed. That choice is ours. Darkwoods, it was the same way when the Republicans were the minority, except there was less whining from the representatives. Yeah, it was the same. Essentially, that's a great point. The Republicans, they were hopping up and down about the Democrats' nominees. That's just politics. But I do think that her instances are exaggerations, and Bernie Sanders' instances were exaggerations. And I think there's reasons for that. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Let's listen to the guy's reply. Definitely not as impressed by this guy as RFK, but that may be unfair of me. I was going to vote for RFK before he threw his endorsement to Trump. So this guy, I'm probably not willing to vote for him for president. Just putting that out there. Let's see what he has to say, though.
We should enforce the laws that have been delegated to us. And it is particularly important when it comes to anti-discrimination. There are new ways in which financial institutions are using behavioral advertising, new forms of data collection, and we need to make sure that we're offering a robust way to understand how they can comply and hold them accountable when they're not. our Fair Lending and Equal Opportunity Office at the CFPB, I had a chance to work with them the last time I worked there, is established by Congress, and it should play a critical role in making sure the law is being followed and meeting the objectives set out in the Act.
Good. Well, I'm very glad to hear you say that, Commissioner Chopra. And, you know, because the whole problem of discrimination in financial services exacerbates racial wealth inequalities. And I'm glad that you're going to make this a priority. It is long past time to send a signal to Wall Street that the Bureau is not going to turn the other way and look away when big financial institutions discriminate against Black, Latino, Asian, and Native customers. So thank you.
Oh, if you only knew where the punchline was, but I'm afraid I probably won't get to it this week. CFP director. So spoiler alert, he got the job. Yay. We've got about 8 minutes, so I'm going to call it a stream. And so let's take a look at the poll. But I'm going to be finishing this on Tuesday. So y'all looking at the poll, 46% of you voted for tired blogger CPAC analysis. So I will see if I can do my best to both finish this topic and do some CPAC analysis. So Elizabeth Warren and CPAC. Woo! Very good. So there we stand. At this time, like I say, I haven't gotten to the punchline. I'm going to give you a hint. It has something to do with CFPB. I think some of you can grasp from listening to Rohit Chopra's answers, you may have some guess. But if your guess is that I'm going to be saying, well, it's all a big DEI scam, that's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm going. Frankly, if it was a DEI scam, I would be less disgusted than I am. But I am awfully curious what you think. If there's anyone listening to this on the replay, especially any of my friends, specifically the friend that I bit his head off yesterday, please leave me a comment. I want to know what you think. I want to know if you think I'm full of it, if you think I'm on a good trail, if you have some idea of where I'm going on this trail. I really have tried to connect the dots. Let me get caught up in chat. Then I'm going to thank everybody. And then I'm going to call it a stream so that we can go to either guerrillas or netters or both. The executive branch has administrative powers over the agencies. Darkwoods loves RFK. I knew I liked you for a reason. He has a playlist of podcasts of him on my channel. You know, I know people have trouble listening to his voice, but if you just listen to what he says, I'm not saying he never says. If you look into the past, like 20 years ago, you can dig up things that he said that I absolutely am like, what the hell was that, RFK? But if you listen to the things he's been saying in the last few years, 2 or 3 or 4 years, at least to me, a lot of it makes sense. Maybe he grew up. Big Pharma will get RFK owed. Space Fraggle, if Trump launches a nuclear missile, are we all going to say it's a joke and let it just go as such? Well, not to be flippant to you, but if he launches a nuclear missile, it ain't going to friggin' matter what we say. But I really don't think that that's going to happen because it didn't happen the time before. So I think, frankly, it's just as likely that Biden with his dementia, not to be mean, but I think that was more likely to happen than Trump. Darkwoods is on the verge of going to the hospital for complications. Please pray for him. Yes, please let's say a prayer for Darkwoods. Please, Lord Jesus. I'm not a very righteous man, but please keep your hand over Darkwoods, heal him, and comfort him as he goes through this. Trump's not going to launch a nuke. And he's just, I mean, hopefully I'm understanding him. Maybe I'm not, but he's saying a hypothetical. And he's also probably a little bit worried about us drinking Kool-Aid. And I get it. I do. That's why I'm not meaning to poo-poo you, Space Fraggle. I apologize if I sound like I am. But I don't think we need to worry or fear that he's going to launch a nuclear missile. Yeah, get better as soon as possible. Biden wanted to give Zelenadink nukes. Yeah, that's, I mean, I know the Young Turks guy, he was talking about that. And I found that very worrisome myself. But if nukes weren't launched then, I don't think they're going to be launched any time in the near future. I really don't think so. So, but again, we need to appreciate Space Fraggle because we don't want to be an echo chamber. We do need to have questions like that asked. It's frankly important that we hear questions like that and we don't just sit here, Trump is wonderful, Trump is good, blah, blah, blah. You know, we got to be careful about that. I've whined about the left being an echo chamber. It would be totally disingenuous of me to, well, Space Fraggle, you're just full of crap, you blankety blank. No, he needs to be in here asking these questions, and we need to answer them respectfully and not dismissively. So again, if I sounded dismissive, Space Fraggle, because I've had that happen on the other side, I apologize if that's the case. But I don't mean it to be flippant or dismissive. But I don't think, could be wrong, and sorry if I am, but I don't think we have to worry about Trump launching a nuclear missile. Darkwoods, we can't escalate with Russia. That would mean the end of the world. And in a way, you're making Darkwoods' point. Don't worry, or Space Fraggles. And don't worry, Darkwoods, I do agree with you on this. I don't think Trump's going to do that. But you're right. We can't push to a nuclear war. It's just not smart. We didn't need to have this war. Putin is not a socialist dictator. Again, that's according to Darkwoods. This is about Russia's agitation by NATO, which I do at least mostly agree with that last point. It's mainly NATO agitation. But Putin's got his thing too. But we won't debate that here and now. We talked about that in the last stream, and most people have been very fascinated by Darkwoods' ideas in that regard. Not saying that everyone agreed, but a lot of people found some interesting thoughts there. All right, let's call it a stream. I will take this up again next week. And Gorilla Sensor Thoughts, thank you very much for coming along and for your kind thoughts. He is doing a watch party in a little bit. I believe he's doing a Firefly watch party. Dang it. I may try to juggle him and Netters tonight because I love Firefly. Darkwoods Presents, thank you very much. Also, please check this gentleman's content out. Maybe check out his Amazon page, see if you'd like to purchase one of his books. I know we're not all made of money, and we don't all have the same taste, but if any of his books look like something you would be interested in reading, please think about buying one of his books. Moira Kitty, meow meow to you. I think she's doing a watch party as well. But check out her channel. if you don't want to go to Netters or Gorillas, think about maybe watching Moira's movie. I can't remember what it is, though. I hate having chronic fatigue sometimes. Mark Monakoff, kapla to thee. Glory to you and your house. And I didn't say that to you, Space Fraggle. I'm so sorry. Kapla. Glory to you and your house. I'm getting to be a bad host. I'm sorry. Jeff B., hail and well met. Thank you. And hail to thee, Pluff Chick Productions. I gotta hurry. Everyone's stream's starting. Hail Sashi, the man from the future. Thank you for the kind comment and thoughtfulness. Rizla Germ, welcome. Thank you for the kind comment. Check out this gentleman's content as well. A lot of content creators in here. It's amazing. Talented people. DJ Ronnie G, thank you for your presence and your kind comments. Check out his wonderful content as well. I know there's Space Fraggle. It seems like there's at least one other person as well. Who else was in here? Who was in here? Big Al Presents. That's who is in here. Thank you for your presence and kind comment. Check out this wonderful gentleman. Maybe watch a watch party of his. Typically on Saturdays, he and Netters will trade off on each other's channels doing films with friends. Doobie. James, hail and well met. I hope that you enjoyed some of what you listened to. Maybe found some of it entertaining. Tim. Some there are who call him Tim. Scrolling. And here we go, Space Fraggle. Kapla. Glory to you and your house. Trump is indeed, and I'm just joking, he is indeed the God Emperor, for he is the Quetzat Sadrach. Yeah, I've gone mad, I tell you, mad. All right, everybody say good night. Thanks for your thoughtful entertainment and kudos. Thank you very much. You're very kind. You're all very kind. I'm going to skip the spiel tonight so everyone can get to streams. And I thank you very much. We will continue this later. I promise you. I'm going to connect the dots. I did it beforehand. You will see why I think that this is more important than maybe some of us realize. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.